Hello everybody, this is Robipony here with another reading for you. Now, I'm going to talk a bit about ships first.
Mostly over the fact that I am not a big fan of ships.
Which is quite understandable considering the fact that a lot of the ships made by our fandom are rather boring and untasteful. So, generally my favorite type of ship is the one with a keg of dynamite and a fuse. You light the fuse, send the ship off, and then as the two are about to embrace with a loving kiss, they are forever embraced in an eternity of blood and gore. But that is just my opinion. Fortunately, this sad romantic tale that I'm about to tell you is not among these fics. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to read for you Death of My Light by Dren Lu. A short story about love and death within Equestria. A warm greeting, a simple hello, the very act of showing someone that you care can go a long way. Some do not know the magic of friendship or the warmth of love. Hopefully in reading this, you yourself can have the chance to help save a lost soul, lost in the horror, hate, and darkness that the world often shows today. Hopefully together we can eliminate sadness from the world and hold hands together and treat one another with respect. If you can take one thing away from the story, let it be this. If you can see someone crying, being excluded, or being picked on, lend them a helping hoof. Who knows? Maybe you're saving a life. We all have emotions, and we are all equal. No matter how you look or act, we all share some things. We can all feel, we can all love, but worst of all, we can all hurt. Now I am asking you to please open your hearts and hear the story of a mare who seemed to be missed by the land's love and harmony. I ask, please, that in her memory that you respect her. Some have called her a coward or monster for what she has done. Not me. I think she was the strongest pony I've ever seen in my life. For what she was able to endure throughout the years, we could all learn a lesson from her. I write this note through muffled words of my own cries and pleas for help. No pony ever helped or cared for me. It seems that the peace and love of Equestria flew over me like a gray rainbow pouring shades of black down upon me. I feel almost emotionless all the time, the only ones I truly know being sorrow, regret, and depression. This world full of butterflies and daisies never wanted me. Just because I looked different and acted different, no pony would talk to me. All of this, though, I could have handled, but what followed made me make my final and most important decision. It was my final year of magic school. Soon I would be finished and be able to leave this hellish place. I call it a hellish place, of course, because of all the bad things that have happened to me throughout the years. In my time there, I was called names, beaten, and pushed around by all the other mares almost every day. I still recall the worst day of all, though. I was heading to my morning class, ready to learn for the day, when suddenly I was tripped. I fell hard against the floor, landing on my face. It hurt really bad, but the physical pain was nothing compared to the emotional pain that day. I got up and looked to see a group of stallions and mares surrounding me and laughing. One of the mares called me some names and kicked me hard against the locker. After doing so, she proceeded to tell me that I was the ugliest creature in Equestria and that I would never amount to anything. She spat in my face and kicked me again, The group behind her did nothing but nod and laugh. They did nothing. This broke me. I realized something that day. I was the weak one, the silent one, the useless one. I finally realized that I didn't matter. I was only taking space where some pony better than me could be so again. This helped me reach my final decision. I only wish that I could have tasted love once. I just wish that there was some pony out there who could have saved me from this dark, desolate realm of loneliness. But alas, no pony was there. It was just me versus the world. I'm too weak to go on alone any longer. That's why after magic school tomorrow, I'm going to take the coward's way out. I plan to take my own life and rid this wonderful place of my awful presence. Today was awful, just like all the others. The day was bright and warm, but it did nothing to warm my darkened, dead heart. I feel like Mother Nature herself was delighted with the news that I was going to take my own life. She made the day nice and enjoyable for every pony else, just like any other day. They would be able to have fun and play with their friends while I rot away in the dark. Well, the withering of this soul is going to end soon enough, for I hold this knife in my hoof and raise it high into the air. The pain is only the beginning. It hurts so much. The blood is spilling from my wrists like tears of crimson regret, corrupting and damning the floor under me. Before my life spills out before me, I carve this half-heart into my chest, signifying that no pony was there to mend or complete it. I'm walking towards the noose I have affixed to my ceiling. I walk to my death. Goodbye, every pony. To the one who finds this note, thank you. You are the closest thing I have ever had to a friend. Sincerely, Roselight. Hello, my name is Dranlu. I'm a unicorn from Canterlot. Yesterday was just like any other day. I got up and went to school, but yesterday was going to be special. I was going to confess my love for a mare named Roselight. Every other pony in my school picked on her or treated her like trash, though they thought she was ugly. I didn't think that. To me, she was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. I liked her ever since we were young. I was always too shy to say anything, and I was afraid what the others would say if they saw me with her. I regret everything. If I could have been there earlier, maybe none of this would have happened. But it's too late now. I suppose I should explain what I mean by this before. Okay, but I'm going to make this quick. I don't want to waste your time. Today at school, I was gazing upon the beautiful mare named Roselight. She had medium-length black hair cut in a Gothic style. Her coat was pure white, like that of a gorgeous snowfall. She was quiet as usual, but today I thought she looked alive and energetic, but I was horribly wrong. After school today, I was planning on stopping by her house to attest my love to her. I had no idea that I was going to run into the most horrific sight in my life. A sight worse than murder. I literally felt part of myself die. Half of me was dead. At first, I was sad. Then I was furious. But it's clear to me what I should do now. After school was finished for the day, I decided to wait about 2 hours and let her unwind. from the busy day. I eventually started my walk towards her house. I knew where she lived because every day on my walk home, I would see her go into the same house. I bought her a wonderful bouquet of red roses. They were beautiful, just like her. I eventually made my way to her house. My heart was beating fast as I knocked on the door. Something was wrong though, because when I knocked on the door, it opened right up. It wasn't locked, or even closed for that matter. I figured something was wrong, so I cautiously walked in, calling Rose's name. A few more steps into her home, I saw the very image of horror itself hanging in front of my face. There in front of me hung the lifeless body of the mare I loved. I was in such shock at what I saw. Rose's body hung there dead. Her perfect white coat was tarnished with deep shades of dried red blood. It was like some pony destroyed a masterpiece. On her chest there was a carved half-heart. Under her was an almost dry but still slightly moist pool of blood. She had deep slash wounds down her arms. She meant for there to be no hope that she would survive. The worst of all, though, was the look on her face. She was crying at the time of her death. The mascara she had around her eyes gave that away. It was running down her face like she had been walking through the rainstorm. A rainstorm of sorrow and pain. Nothing I can do will bring you back now, Rose. I'm so sorry. If only I was sooner. If only I was brave enough to confess my love for you sooner. You might still be here today with me. What am I to do now? Should I take vengeance on the ones who made you do this? Should I expose them for the monsters they truly are? You were the one glimmer of light I had, Rose, and now you're gone. As I stare at your lifeless body, I wonder and read your final words. Maybe if we couldn't be together in this life, perhaps we could be together in the next. We could mend each other's fractured hearts. I love you, Rose. I love you, Rose. Now, I only wish to be with you, no matter where or how. I will be with you. Now that I have made my decision of what to do, I pick up the blood-soaked knife, the instrument of peace through death, to my love. I pick it up and carve the other half of your broken heart into my chest and slit my own wrists. My blood will pool and happily dance with your already spilled sorrow in an attempt to blanket you with my affection. I only wish you to feel warm and loved, Rose. I hope I will find you in the next life. I love you, Rose. I will do anything to be with you. With unrivaled love, Dranlu. Princess Celestia watched as twilight slowly read the 2 pieces of parchment in front of her. She waited patiently as the purple unicorn studied every word. She took in everything the notes had to say. She had tears forming in her eyes as she finished reading them. Princess, those notes had to be the saddest pieces of fiction I have ever read. That's terrible, the way the others treated the poor mare, and for no good reason. So what if she had looked or even acted different than every pony else? That doesn't give them reason to single her out and pick on her, especially to the point of suicide. That poor stallion too. He truly loved her, but he never got a chance to announce it to her. He was so close too. If only he had been a fraction of time earlier, the two of them could have lived on happily in one another's arms for the rest of their lives. Princess, Who is the author of that? Did you want me to pre-read it or something? Princess Celestia casually walked over to Twilight and with her magic rolled up the 2 pieces of parchment. She then levitated them into an ornate scroll box adorned with 2 Pegasi with their wings out, holding up a heart and kissing one another. She closed the box and looked to Twilight with a serious look on her face, but Twilight could tell that she herself was holding back tears. Twilight, the story you read, it wasn't a work of fiction at all. It actually happened a few years back, right here in Canterlot's very own magic school. As the ruler of Equestria, when I got the news of what happened, I felt like it was my fault. I should have watched every pony at the school closer. If I did, I would have noticed that Rose was being picked on every day. I would have done something, anything to help her. But I didn't know, and because of my mistake, 2 perfectly innocent, loving ponies died. The princess was starting to lose the fight between herself and the tears. She started to fall as she tried to speak, but was cut off by Twilight. Princess, it wasn't your fault. You have so many responsibilities. She put her hoof on the princess's shoulder. It would be impossible for you to watch every pony in Equestria. I understand that this was a horrible tragedy that happened, but Princess, you can't blame yourself. Twilight's eyes now started to swell with tears too. The princess saw this and pulled herself together the best she could. She cleared her throat and prepared to talk more on the subject at hand. I can't help but blame myself, Twilight. I know I can't watch over every one of my subjects, but know this, whenever one of them gets injured or dies, it makes me feel very sad. I love every pony in Equestria. The princess stared at the scroll box containing the 2 parchments. So you can imagine how I felt when 2 of my subjects killed themselves. One because of how she was treated, and the other for his love. Naturally, I followed the code of love and harmony, but after that incident, I made it my personal endeavors to spread it throughout Equestria so another tragic event such as this never happens again. Twilight could feel the sad emotions coming off the princess like currents of wind in the middle of an empty ocean. No matter what was said, the princess was always going to take blame for what had happened that day. Twilight didn't know what to say next. She wanted to help the princess with her problem, but she didn't know what she could possibly do. She was about to ask when Celestia started to speak again. They were so young. They had so much of their life ahead of them. Now they won't know the joys of growing up, the sweet embrace of love, the pride of raising a family, all thrown away because of the acts of others' negative influence. It pains me to think that something like this could still evade me and happen again. Twilight saw the princess pause in what she was saying and looked at it as a chance to speak herself. Princess, if there is anything I can do, anything at all, just let me know. I want to help you, and I, for one, don't want something as awful as that to happen again. Princess Celestia smiled a bit as she stared at the scroll box. Twilight, you have already helped me more than any pony could have. I put you on a special mission to study the magic of friendship. In doing so, it gives me a better understanding of how emotions work. Through that research, I am able to make changes around Equestria to make every pony happy. All I ask, Twilight, is that you continue your studies on friendship. Twilight smiled as she approached the princess for a hug. The princess accepted her comfort and hugged her back. When they finished, Princess Celestia motioned for Twilight to put her hoof on the scroll box. She did, and then stared at the princess. Twilight, I want you to swear to Dranlu and Rose that you will never forget them, and that you will do everything in your power to spread love and harmony throughout Equestria. Twilight nodded. I swear it, Princess. I will do my best. Princess Celestia smiled. I know I can count on you, Twilight. Thank you. Twilight and Celestia looked out the window of Celestia's throne room. It was raining something fierce. The tale of Dranlu and Rose seemed to even make the heavens cry. Celestia offered Twilight a place to stay for the night. She happily obliged, and the two of them sat close to the fireplace. Not a word was said between them, but they both knew what each other was thinking. Rest in peace, Rose and Dranlu. You will never be forgotten.